Have you ever met someone who would literally give you the shirt off their back, and then apologize for not having a nicer one? Someone who says yes to every favor, pays for everyone's dinner even when they're broke, or stays up all night helping a friend move, only to be exhausted the next day? At first glance, these people seem like saints. They're kind, selfless, and always putting others first. But if you look a little closer, something feels off. Their generosity often leaves them drained, resentful, broke, or taken advantage of. So what's really going on inside the mind of someone who is excessively, compulsively, pathologically generous? Is it pure altruism, or is there a hidden psychological price tag attached to every gift they give? Today we're diving deep into the surprising, and sometimes dark, psychology of people who are too generous. We'll explore the personality traits, childhood roots, attachment styles, neurochemistry, and even the evolutionary reasons that turn normal kindness into self-destructive overgiving. By the end, you'll not only understand these people, you might even recognize some of these patterns in yourself or someone you love. Part 1. Defining too generous, when giving becomes a problem. Generosity stops being a virtue and starts becoming a liability when it consistently violates one simple rule: the giver's own well-being. Psychologists call this pathological altruism, or compulsive giving. It's not just being nice. It's giving until you have nothing left to give, and sometimes even after that. Signs you're dealing with someone who is too generous. They feel intense guilt or anxiety when they say no, even to unreasonable requests. They prioritize other people's needs so extremely that their own basic needs, sleep, money, time, emotional energy, get neglected. They attract chronic takers, users, and narcissists who sense their inability to set boundaries. They secretly feel resentful but swallow it because good people don't get angry. Their self-worth is almost entirely tied to how helpful they are to others. If that sounds extreme, it is. But it's far more common than most people realize. Part 2. The childhood blueprint, where it all begins. Excessive generosity almost always has roots in early life. The most common pathways. Conditional love environments. Many overgivers grew up in homes where love, attention, or safety felt conditional on being good, useful, or never causing problems. A child learns very quickly: if I anticipate everyone's needs and make myself indispensable, I won't be abandoned or criticized. That survival strategy gets hardwired. Parentification. Some were parentified children, forcing them to take care of emotionally immature or overwhelmed parents. They became the family therapist, peacemaker, or caretaker before they were even teenagers. Giving became their role, their identity, and their only source of praise. Criticism of selfishness. In certain families or cultures, any sign of self-focus is labeled selfish or ungrateful. Children in these environments learn to suppress their own needs so completely that as adults they literally don't know what they want. Inconsistent or narcissistic caregivers. When a parent is unpredictable, loving one day, cold or raging the next, the child often tries to fix the parent's mood by being extra good, extra helpful, extra generous. That pattern repeats in adulthood with friends, partners, bosses, anyone whose approval feels unstable. The result? An adult whose nervous system still believes, if I'm not useful, I'm worthless. If I'm not needed, I will be left. Part 3. Personality traits that fuel pathological generosity. Not everyone who had a tough childhood becomes an overgiver. Certain personality traits act like gasoline on the fire. High agreeableness, Big 5 personality model. People who score extremely high on agreeableness have a deep need for social harmony and hate conflict. Saying no feels like starting a war. Empathic sensitivity and hyperempathy. Some individuals literally feel other people's emotions as if they were their own. When someone is upset, they experience physical discomfort until they fix it, often at great personal cost. People-pleasing and fear of rejection. This is classic anxious preoccupied attachment in action. The subconscious belief, if I don't keep everyone happy, they'll leave me. Low self-worth masked as virtue. Paradoxically, many compulsive givers don't actually think very highly of themselves. They use giving as a way to earn the right to take up space in the world. Perfectionism turned outward. While most perfectionists aim high standards at themselves, some aim them at being the perfect friend, perfect partner, or perfect employee. Anything less feels like failure. Part 4. The neurochemistry of overgiving. Believe it or not, being overly generous can feel chemically addictive. Every time an excessive giver helps someone, They get a hit of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the reward chemical. Their brain literally learns, helping equals love plus safety plus pleasure. Over time, saying no triggers a stress response, cortisol and adrenaline, because the brain interprets boundaries as social rejection, which in evolutionary terms once meant death. So the overgiver is caught in a neurochemical trap. Giving feels good in the moment, but the long-term cost is burnout, resentment, and an ever-growing sense of emptiness. Part 5. The Dark Side: How Excessive Generosity Harms Everyone. It's tempting to think too much generosity is a victimless trait. It's not. How it hurts the giver. Chronic exhaustion and burnout, financial ruin, built-up resentment that eventually explodes, loss of identity. Who am I if I'm not helping? Higher rates of depression and anxiety. How it hurts the receiver. Creates dependency instead of growth, robs people of the chance to develop resilience, can feel manipulative. I have to accept this gift or they'll be hurt. How it hurts relationships. Attracts narcissistic or exploitative people who sniff out an endless supply, creates imbalance. Eventually the giver feels like a doormat and the receiver feels guilty or smothered, prevents genuine intimacy, because real intimacy requires mutual vulnerability, not one-sided rescue. Part 6. The Masked Motives: What overgivers are really seeking. On the surface, excessive generosity looks selfless. Dig one layer deeper and you find powerful unconscious motives. Control by making others dependent. The overgiver ensures they won't be abandoned. It's control disguised as kindness. Avoidance of their own pain. Helping others is a brilliant distraction from facing their own unmet needs, loneliness, or trauma. Moral superiority: some overgivers secretly enjoy feeling better than selfish people. Their generosity becomes a way to win the moral scoreboard. Martyr syndrome: the identity of the one who sacrifices everything can feel noble and meaningful, even when it's destroying them. Guilt alleviation: many were taught they don't deserve good things. Giving everything away feels like paying cosmic penance. Part 7. Gender and Cultural Amplifiers. Women are diagnosed with people-pleasing and codependency issues far more often than men, not necessarily because they're born more generous, but because many cultures still reward female self-sacrifice and punish female assertiveness. In collectivist cultures, extreme generosity can be seen as honorable, making it even harder for individuals to recognize when their giving has crossed into self-harm. Part 8. The Road to Healthy Generosity: How to Heal. If you recognize yourself or someone you love in this pattern, the good news is that change is absolutely possible. Here are the core steps therapists use. Learn to tolerate discomfort. Practice saying small no's and sitting with the anxiety instead of rushing to fix it. Reparent your inner child. Give yourself the unconditional acceptance you never got. Daily affirmations sound cheesy, but they rewire the belief, I am worthy even when I'm not useful. Build identity outside of helping. Rediscover hobbies, opinions, desires that have nothing to do with other people. Grieve the fantasy. Let go of the childhood hope that if you're just good enough, someone will finally take care of you the way you take care of everyone else. Practice assertive communication. Scripts like, I care about you, and I'm not available right now, or, I want to help, but I can only give X amount, are life-changing. Surround yourself with reciprocal people. Slowly phase out relationships that are purely extractive. It will feel terrifying at first, like you're being selfish, but it's actually self-respect. Therapy modalities that work especially well: internal family systems, IFS, to dialogue with the giver, part EMDR or trauma work if abandonment wounds are deep, assertiveness training and DBT skills for emotional regulation. Closing. People who are too generous aren't saints with a minor flaw. They're often wounded healers carrying an old survival strategy that no longer serves them. Their hearts are enormous, but until they learn that love is not a debt to be paid with every ounce of their energy, they will keep pouring from a cup that was empty long ago. Healthy generosity feels good for both people. It has boundaries, reciprocity, and joy. Pathological generosity feels obligatory, depleting, and eventually bitter. If you're an overgiver, hear this: you are allowed to keep some of the good stuff for yourself. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no and still be a good person. In fact, only when you start protecting your own well-being can your giving truly come from abundance instead of desperation. And if you love someone who gives too much, the kindest thing you can do is stop taking so much. Let them practice receiving. Let them see that they are loved even when they have nothing left to offer. Because real love doesn't demand a martyr. It just asks for two whole people showing up as equals. Thank you for spending this time exploring the complex psychology of excessive generosity with me. If this video resonated, save it, share it with the giver in your life who needs to hear they're enough exactly as they are, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.